Say how you doing today? How you doing today? Y'all already know it is your host, Lacey G Soldier Turner. And today I got a very, very special guest with me. She is a 2025, 2024 two-time Grammy nominated artist in the spoken word poetry category. She is a two-time NAACP Image Award nominee. She is the creative Lodi's People Choice Spoken Award Artist of the Year and the recipient in the city of Atlanta, Patreon and Furious Flowers Artist grants. She is an author of numerous several books. She has dropped numerous of studio albums. She has performed at over 300 colleges and universities, even abroad. She has done so, but it's a whole. I can keep on going over, but that'll be the whole podcast time. But so we finna get to learn about her, and talk about this poetry versus hip hop event that's coming up. So without any further ado, I want to welcome to the platform the wonderful, amazing, talented Queen Sheba. Welcome to the platform.
Thank you so much. I need you to do my intros everywhere. That's amazing. I love that. And the intro to your podcast. I love that too.
No problem, no problem, no problem. So, we got a big event coming up. But before we even get into that, I want to let my audience know a little bit about you. So, can you let the people know where were you born and raised and how was your upbringing as a child?
Oh, Lord.
We get into it.
I see. I didn't know I needed a tissue box and a pillow. Good Lord. So I was born, or like where I say I was born.
Right. Whichever one you want to let the people
So
in.
I was born in Kalamazoo, Michigan, like up here somewhere, right? And then I was adopted by a white family in Jackson, Michigan. Then when I was 2.5, and then we moved to Detroit, Michigan, not a city, not the suburbs. We didn't live in Dearborn, South Park, Oak Park, Southfield, none of that. We lived in Detroit. I went to Ludington. I went to Vital Elementary, that is in Detroit. I went to Ludington Middle School, that is in Detroit. I went to Cass Tech High School for 1 year, and then I was kicked out by the white people, and they sent me to a youth home. They was like, deuces, you are too much trouble, black girl with all this trauma. So I was in, do I have lipstick on my teeth? I feel like I did. But I was in 3 foster homes before I was adopted. And then they adopted me, and they said I had a whole bunch of trauma. So I was just a wreck and a mess, and a cannon from 2.5 to 15. And then I did end up going to a youth home up in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And I stayed there until I graduated high school. And then when I graduated high school, I moved to Norfolk, Virginia. And that is where I started my poetry career. In 2001, I was working at Bank of America. I'd climbed to like the supervisor position, but I was working second shift, and it was in collections, which it was a great job at the time. I had a cute little car, cute little apartment. I was a single mother, and going to school. I went to Old Dominion University while in working at Bank of America full time. So it was cool. It was money, whatever money was back then. And then I got fired because I got interested in doing poetry and spoken word and started coming.
Wait a minute, hold on. They fired you up. So look, let me ask you. After you got fired, okay, what got you into poetry then?
Well, I kind of skipped all that, but I have always, and I know it sounds cliche, right? But I have always been into poetry and I have bins and bins stacked and stacked and stacked of notebooks now that I've just never cut into. Like I'm still gonna write my autobiography probably in the next year or two off of the stuff that I wrote in the youth home and growing. I used to write every single day in those spiral notebooks, handwriting. I said I was gonna hire somebody to like just dictate. So anybody want a job, whatever minimum wage is, some little college student, I need to dictate. But I know it sounds cliche, but I wrote my first poem when I was 7 in the 2nd grade. I've always been into writing because it's my way to express myself. And I didn't know what to do with my feelings being a biracial child. I'm biracial in a white family in a metropolitan city. And they're hippies. You know what I mean? This is the late 70s we're talking about. So they hippies. They adopted a black child because they wanted to save the world. You know what I mean? And little do they know I'm coming out with Afro and Black Power. I'm like, what? I'm Black, y'all, and I'm Black, y'all. And it was like, oh God, oh God.
To the people, we the people got the power. Let's run.
You know what I'm saying? You know, and X Clan was coming out, BDP, Big Daddy Kane. They got the wrong adopted child.
Yeah.
I'm 3 years old, running
Man,
around
glorious
Afro.
sissies. No.
Right, exactly. Exactly. I don't even got to tell y'all how old I am. You know what I know. You know I don't know. But so yeah, I mean, they couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle them. And I went to a youth home in Grand Rapids, Michigan, Wedgewood Acres for 2 years. And come to find out later, I don't know if we'll get to it in this podcast, but come to find out later, I actually do better with boundaries, rules, and a schedule. And that's, for people who can catch what that means, you know what it is. But so I just have always had to make my way. And I tried drugs, tried selling, not tried drugs. I tried selling drugs. That didn't work. That was not part of my personality. I was like, this is not me.
We did that same thing. I tried it for like probably a few days. I was like, okay, this is
I tried it for like one day. I think it was like 2 days. This dude in high school, I was like, hey, let me try to sell, because I'm literally on my own at 15 years old, right? So I'm like, all right, well, drug dealers, they got fancy cars, and but it was my assistant principals in my high school that was just like, hey, why don't you apply for these food stamps? And they would put me in their car and drive me to these lookout spots, and I just knew I was about to be raped, but I wasn't. They never raped me, thank God. Thank you so much. But they would give me lunch, and they knew that I was in a youth home because I always had to get these papers signed, whenever you come into school. But I went to school. I liked school. I love learning. I have my master's degree in creative writing from Queen's University in Charlotte. I've always thought about getting my PhD, but I don't really know. I have a virtual school that I teach every Tuesday online for the last 7 years now. So I think education is so super important. And yeah, I mean, it's just been a crazy, crazy life. So high school, 15 years old, I'm hopping around couch surfing. I'm finding people who are renting rooms, renting out their couch. And it's just nuts. So I went to a closed youth home from 15 to 16, and then 16 to 17 when I graduated high school. I was in an open youth home, same company, but that just means, say, like you and your mom, like if you and I were the same age, so your mom signed up with the state to have these, children. And some people definitely, I have witnessed, people who took me in who are just doing it for the check, and then some people who actually, really cared. So I have witnessed it firsthand. So it's been a crazy life, but it gives me stuff to write about.
Okay. So look, I saw that you got your Master of Fine Arts degree from Queen's University of Charlotte. So what was that experience like, going to college and do that whole experience?
It's dope. So I went to college late, like if you go in chronological order. So I graduated high school at 17, and then I was running around the streets. By the time I graduated high school, I was living with my boyfriend. Check this out. Check this craziness out. So I'm in high school. Okay. So imagine a senior in high school right now. So me, I'm living in the basement with my boyfriend, who's Puerto Rican. His sister is Puerto Rican, and his sister's boyfriend is Dominican, a cocaine dealer. It doesn't even dawn on me. I'm just going to school every day. Like, I'm in complete survival mode. Like, we were safe in the basement. We went to school together. Matter of fact, we ran track together. His sister, was very submissive to her boyfriend. So she would make beans and rice and fish and meat every day. And we just went to school and unfortunately had sex every day in the basement. And but he had like a whole apartment. But him and his sister literally, I can say his name, Luis Diaz, because that's like saying John Doe. Like Luis Diaz is so common, right, in the Puerto Rican community. That could be anybody. But yep, Luis Diaz. So my senior year, that's how I lived, was in a basement. I'm in constant like survival mode. So this is how I grew up, like coming out so born to a biracial mom who lied to her parents and said she was gang raped so she could keep the black baby in the house. Oh, child, like it's trauma from the gate. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh God. So she ended up marrying a white dude for some money, put me up for adoption at at
Two.
18, at 18 months late.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's like kicking your baby out the house. Like, okay, like beat it. I'm like, dang, you know what I mean? So I've been in survival mode for so long. It's I'm so happy to be in a relationship now where I finally feel at home. And I'm plus middle age, whatever that means. But I mean, I pray everybody gets here because it's not an easy road.
Definitely, definitely. So, you have done something, that a lot of people haven't done, and not only once but twice. So, how did it feel being nominated twice for 2 Grammys?
Man, let me tell you something. The first time I like to run and cycle. I'm not in the best shape right now, but I like to run and cycle. And I was with my cycling crew. I don't own the crew, but I was, traveling with them. We all went to Jamaica. Shout out to Bonafide Cycling Crew out of Atlanta. And I knew that we were going to be in Jamaica while it always comes out the first Friday of November. Okay. Something you learn as you get involved, right? So it comes out the first Friday of November, and I knew we were going to be there. We weren't leaving until Sunday. And so I was really torn if I wanted to gather everybody around the computer or not, or just me and my partner. You know what I mean? I was just like, and I was just like bumping, just me and my partner, right? Because the year before, like a dummy, I submitted to the wrong category. I submitted to album of the year with everybody, with Beyonce, with Taylor Swift, with instead of the spoken word album of the year. I was like, oh my God. And so once voting starts, you can't change it. You could change it before then. Like if you submit now, like submitting is, right now. So if you submit now and you're like, oh shoot, I submitted to the wrong category, you can go in and change it. But once voting starts, which is like mid-September, you can't change it. And I didn't know it was in the wrong category until I received the ballot and didn't see my name, in the spoken word category. And so I was like, oh my God. Like, and it was the first year out. And I was so mad that I missed being part of the, the first year. I mean, I didn't know if I was going to be nominated or not, but just even being in the category listed, I was mad that I wasn't part of this. I was just nervous, just uploaded in the wrong place. So I had to wait a whole year. I had to endure just watching it. I was like, oh my God. I was just like, I can't believe I'm not there, like not a part of it. It's just, I had to endure that whole year. And then I submitted a remix of that album the next year. I'll explain rules later, but I submitted a remix of that album the next year. And then that's when I was in Jamaica. And I was like, forget it. It's just going to be me and my partner. And we sat around the computer and there's a delay because we were overseas. And so Shihan, who's in LA, text me and was like, congratulations before I saw it. Right. And I was like, what? And then I was like, no, I got to see it myself. So the delay was like about a minute, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh my God, I was like freaking out. I still had on my cycling gear because we cycled really early, like at 6 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, oh my God. So I'm freaking out. I see it come across. I'm screaming over the balcony. I got Grammy nominated because, it's Jamaica. So people are swimming at 9, 10 in the morning. And they're like, so what? I'm just kidding. They were like, so who cares? We don't even know you. Who are you? That type of thing. But so the next year, so last year is always in the fall, right? So same thing happened. I'm driving from North Carolina to Atlanta, and my friend is like, I'm trying to listen to it, like, it's on YouTube, but I didn't know that this time they chopped it up into different segments so you can watch different segments like at the same time, I guess, instead of having like one 2-hour nomination show. Basically, you could just click on the ones that you wanted to see because they're pre-recorded. They're pre-recorded. So my friend was like, you got the nomination again. Like I didn't even see it, I'm like, what? Driving down 85. So I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, I was like, oh my God, And so I believed her, and then she's a really good friend of mine. So of course, I saw it later, and it's cool. And this is what I tell people about being nominated. Being nominated can change your life depending on your work ethic, but winning immediately changes your life before you leave that building, because now you are the winner for this one category, and we don't have a breakout category yet, right? So hip hop started with just album of the year, and then as you know, people submitted every year, then they have breakout categories, but we don't have breakout categories yet. As long as our category remains healthy, which is 80 plus submissions, we want to keep it around 100 submissions a year. Then we'll start to have breakout categories like best live poem of the year, best live performance, best single poem of the year, things like that. But right now it's just one. You win or you lose, and that's what's so crazy. That's what it says in the Grammy rules. It says, look, you win or you lose. Don't ask us who came in second. We don't know.
We don't know. We don't know how to lose.
We don't know. You win or you lose. So, but it feels great. Walkthrough prices definitely went up. But I think what happens in the poetry community is that people are like, oh, we can't afford you now. I'm like, bro, I lost. You can still afford me. Just come on. Let's work. So I'm still doing the same work. I'm still doing, the reach out, but it is a lot easier for me to create my own shows and be on this, city winery circuit with the Grammy nominated tag. People are interested, like, oh, let me go see this. Let me go check this out. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So,
yeah. So I also saw that the Lexus car and All Def Digital and DPL did a documentary on you about the Grammys and being a Black poet. Can you tell the people about that?
Yeah, that was so amazing. It was just a surprise, just one of those poetry things that just happen. You keep working and things happen for you. And Lexus decided to do a follow series during the Grammys this year, so just a few months ago. And again, Shihan is in charge of DPL Productions, which is the Poetry Lounge. If you're ever in LA on a Tuesday, you need to go to the Poetry Lounge. It's been there 30 years, and they are 300 deep every Tuesday. Every Tuesday. There's a line down the block every Tuesday. It's crazy. But so they asked a couple of us to do follows, and so mine was like a day, like the night that I arrived, which was a Tuesday night, and then the whole next day, and then other people. I think they did one for Prentice Powell and maybe somebody else, and followed them around for their life. So with me, we talked about poetry, we talked about cycling and the history of cycling. And what else did we do? Of course, I did a poem on there. It is on my IG page, but I'm going to relaunch it during Grammy campaign time. So, there's a little strategy in that, but it's on there. And I was really proud. It was great. They gave us a little change for our pocket. They did not give us a Lexus, which I don't understand. I'm like, isn't this the whole point? Like, y'all are advertising the Lexus. Like, I had to get in and out of that car like 1,000 times.
Okay. My bad. Go ahead. Finish what you were saying.
No, I was just saying we had to get in and out of that Lexus like 1,000 times. And I was like, bro.
Can I have it?
Right. My fingerprints are in here now. Like and it was, it's crazy. They brought a couple different colors, and it's cool. It's, it's nice. They had have a smaller SUV version. I guess it was around 70 grand or so. And it was, it was really kind of a very dope pre-Grammy night, and the Grammys are always on a Sunday. And which I also didn't know, they're always before the Super Bowl. Just some weird information. I was like, okay, and it was really dope. So that was a pretty big deal. And they did the example that they showed me, which shows you how out of touch I am with the millennials. They sent me, a previous one they did, and it was of a hip hop artist. They're like 15, 20 minutes, not long. Even though, they tape you for 2 days, but they put it together.
Edit it down. Yeah.
Edit it down, right? So it was like 15, 20 minutes on YouTube. And I was like, oh, this hip hop artist is dope. And I was like, oh, I really like his personality. He's really cool. Somebody was like, that's T.I.'s son. And I was like, oh, my bad. Sorry. I was like, and it's funny because he was walking through a studio and didn't make a big deal of it. He was like, I'm making this up, but he was like, Biggie, so, the King, T.I., such and such. Like he didn't, make a
Yeah, a
so
big deal. Yeah.
I ain't know, you know what I mean? And he had a great personality. And, they showed him performing a little bit at the end. I was like, oh, he's really dope. I mean, I don't know. Before he becomes famous, I'd like to get, see if we could work together or something. They were like, that's T.I.'s son. I was like, well, my bad. Maybe we can still work together. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
She talk about some bye-bye.
yeah. Yeah, sorry. But yeah, it's really great. And I hope they do more of them on spoken word artists. I don't know who the third one was. I know they did 3. So I have one, Prentice Powell has one, and I'm not sure who the other person is. But yeah, definitely go on YouTube, put in like Lexus, follow DPL, and then they'll pop right up, comment, share, like all of that. And that's the only way for spoken. I'm a huge advocate of spoken word. Like every time the Grammys send out a newsletter and there's no spoken word artist, I don't care if it is Jay Ivy. Like it could be Jay Ivy every single time, but can we get some representation? And now Tank from Taking the Bangers has one. So I'm like, can we get Tank or Jay Ivy? Can one of them please be, represent us? I don't care who it is. Can we just get it done? And so they're always like, hey, summer concert with who did they just put out with Kings of Leon? I'm like, can we get a poet on the lineup, please? I know they're sick of my emails. Like, can we please just get her to win one so she can get off our back?
Yeah.
But
salute to Jay Ivy. Salute to Jay Ivy. I met Jay Ivy. We was at I got nominated for the Hollywood Music and the Media Awards.
Oh, good.
And he had won first place for it. I think he was doing the time he won the Grammy also. So yeah, I got to chill with him at the after party. He was a cool person.
He's a very cool person and very consistent, always the same. Definitely a good brother to know, and a great resource, and a cool dude if y'all become friends. Definitely.
Yeah, okay. So let me talk about this. You did numerous ones, but I want to talk about this specifically. Can you tell me what was it like doing your first book of poems and short stories from foster care to fame?
Yeah, so that was 2012, and was that after that was right before I went to grad school. But just I really walk in being a career poet and really writer, because when I in undergrad at Old Dominion, my degree is in English, and then my minor is, or my concentration, sorry, my concentration is in journalism. I wanted to be a journalist at first. I wanted to be a news anchor, but I find that being a spoken word artist, you kind of are a journalist. Like you report on what's happening in your city, in your block, in your neighborhood, and you put it into something relatable that everybody can hear, understand, and take action to. And so that has always been my charge, is that after people listen to one poem of mine, or a whole set or a feature set or whatever, that they somehow take action in their life, even if it's just, I get people that email me and say, hey, I'm going to start working out, or hey, I'm going to cut sugar, or hey, I'm going to become a vegan. I'm not a vegan, but they're like, hey, I'm going to become a vegan, or I'm going to kick my abusive boyfriend or girlfriend out of the house. I'm going to get this divorce, So it's just like, to me, spoken word has, and poets have, a responsibility to the community where other genres really are the escape. Like R&B is an escape, right? Hip hop is an escape. It's like, we know it's half fantasy, half muse, half whatever, but spoken word can still be fantasy and muse. But I think there's always a lesson. There's always a call to action with a poem, no matter what it is. It could be about, safe sex or cleaning up your house. I've heard poems about everything, anything you can imagine. And like I said, I write a lot. So I have poems from everything you can imagine, from living in a house with infested roaches, and going through, the woman's moon cycle, and then of course social politics and what's happening in the world. And my new album, as a matter of fact, A Hurricane in Heels, talking about Trump and like how he, like what is going on in your brain. So poetry always has that call to action. And that my first book, From Foster Care to Fame, I just wanted people to know that journey. Like it's a bit rough, it's a bit rough. And you're talking to yourself first, right? So you write the poem, you say it to yourself, you're listening to yourself. So it's really a self-help motivational book that I'm sharing with y'all. It's kind of like a journal. And I had a new book drop today, as a matter of fact, on Amazon, called Clemency. And it talks a lot about my mental health around my ex passing of breast cancer, and during the pandemic, and how we weren't speaking to each other, and how horrible that was to live in the house with each other, not speaking during the pandemic. She's going through cancer, got it, started another relationship, and then ended up passing away before I was able to move out of the house. It was just horrible. So, Clemency, poems and short stories to help you accept the apologies you will never receive, is out on Amazon today. So definitely pick it up.
All right. Make sure y'all go cop that. So moving on, what I'm saying. Speaking of this, Queen Sheba, you are the founder of Poetry versus Hip Hop, the acclaimed touring stage show and production company. You're coming to St. Louis. It's going down August the 21st, period. But tell the people why you started this.
Yeah, I know I'm a talker. I'm gonna make a long story short. It was a mistake. It was a mistake that went right. I used to work at a like a juke joint in Atlanta where we did poetry, and I ended up being the booking manager, and somebody bailed on their booking. It was a Tuesday night, and I was like, oh shit, we need to cover this date. And then my homeboy Moses West out of Tampa, Florida, I don't know how I even came across it, but I was like, yo, you used to have that show called Poetry vs. Hip Hop. Do you mind if I use it for this one date that I need to fill? He was like, yeah, sure, I don't care. It was this show I did like a couple years ago. I put Poetry vs. Hip Hop on Eventbrite. We had a line down the block, and it was just an open mic. Like, we were just like, okay, poets up, call it next MC. That's all it was. And then I saw how much verses was happening, and then so I was like, oh, like let's do this. And so I turned it into a company. At the time, the young lady who passed away of breast cancer was the DJ, and we were in a romantic relationship. So we were like, shoot, let's make this a company and go around the world, right? We were like, we can go anywhere. And so we did. It was just her and I and this other MC for a little while. And then we fired him because he wasn't doing what he said he could do. And there was a lot of drama. Like, he'd be like, oh, I can get so-and-so in such and such city. I'm like, bro, under promise and over deliver. Just be like, I don't know anybody. Just be like, I don't know anybody, and I want to be a part of this, and it's cool. You know what I mean? And then when we get to the city, if you can get somebody to show up, cool. But don't be like, oh, I'm gonna get Big Daddy Kane to come out. Like, bro, you don't know anybody. Just shut up. So we fired him. We fired him, gave him a severance package and a letter, and was like, hey, we're gonna take this company.
Y'all did the David Ruffin. You can't me. You can't do this to me.
And man, I tell you, he went to social media. I think that was the first time somebody trolled me or dragged me or whatever it's called on social media. He was like, that they stole my I stole your company. I'm the one who came up with it. What are you talking about? It's my friend. Like, but still, it's going in the movie. So hey,
But look, let the people know you got 2 shows coming up for it, August 19th and August 21st.
Yes, August 19th. We're going to be in Chicago. It's down the street. Y'all should just, how far is Chicago from St. Louis? 3 hours, 3.5 hours?
4 hours, 4.5.
Yeah, I mean, just come through. Ain't nothing less a couple songs, couple albums, couple out the window, and you there. So Chicago, we're there August 19th at City Winery. I have been working with City Winery for going on 9 years. In Atlanta, in the last 2 years, I've been touring Poetry versus Hip Hop to all the city wineries. It's been really dope. People love it. It's a high, fun, safe, energetic show. It is not a rap battle. Nobody's gonna die. No, like there's no murder. There's no, there's nobody's fighting. There's, nobody's getting raped in the songs. It's not that. The hip hop artists come do their best and their favorite songs, and then the poets come and do their best poem. The audience decides the winner, and they go home with cash. And there's a crazy bonus round, but I don't talk about the bonus round. You got to come see if you see it. And there is a VIP hour. And look, I don't care if you don't know us. We deserve VIP hours too. So a VIP hour is 6 to 7, and you do get a free glass of grapes. I don't know if you could say the other thing on on the social media. But you get a free glass of grapes with your tickets. And then come meet the artist. Today's opener is tomorrow's headliner. And I tell people that all the time.
Facts.
So yeah,
Yeah.
come take a picture with us. You get a poster, a free glass of grapes. It is an additional ticket, but trust me, it's worth it. And I mean, if you and it's Thursday, Thursday night. We're Thursday night. Thursday is a new Friday. Poetry night starts at 7:30. You'll be home by 10:30.
That's right. If you're older, you'll be in bed by but it's time for you to go to work tomorrow.
That's right. We'll get you out of there in time. You can still leave, go to work, and it'll be a great time. It is super fun. Lightning is going to host. I'm going to help her co-host because she hasn't done the battle before, but it's super easy. Once she gets the hang of it, she's going to be able to do it herself. And then me and Tasha Jones are going to headline for you. We're just going to do 3 poems each, just get you warmed up, get you familiar with my new book and my new album. And if you happen to be a Recording Academy member, I cannot tell you who to vote for in round 1, but you're supposed to say, I can't tell you who to vote for, but I have an album in the poetry and spoken word category. So please consider checking it out on all streaming platforms. I think that's how you're supposed to say that whole sentence.
Both for But look,
let me say this. Let me say this one thing. Listen, I've been nominated 2 times in a row. Can we not go 8? And I mean, I'm grateful. I am grateful. I am not trying to be the Black Erica Kane of the poetry category in the Grammys. Let's bring home this gold.
Let's get it.
Let's bring home this gold.
Look! I also heard it was an open mic at the Poetry versus Hip Hop.
Yeah, that's right. And we've never done that before, but we understand it's summertime and it's right before everybody goes back to school and we adjust to the fall. I get it. So you know what? I was like, boom, let's do an open mic. It's gonna be short though. It's a limited open mic, and Lightning is gonna decide who goes up and how many. So the open mic is going to start at 7:30. Doors open at 6. Come have dinner with us. Come to the VIP hour. Get your free glass of grapes. Have dinner with us. Take pictures. Buy some merch from the artists. And the open mic starts right at 7:30. Then we're gonna go right into the battle. Me and Tasha Jones in St. Louis. It's gonna do a couple poems for you. Close it out, and that's it.
So let me ask you this: has the Poetry versus Hip Hop ever been to St. Louis before?
It's never been in St. Louis before.
Y'all better come out.
And let me say this. And the reason we're bringing it, and this is very vulnerable, the reason we're bringing it before we stop touring it, is very expensive to bring it. This is the pop-up version, right? So I'm like, hey, we need a photographer. Hey, we need a videographer. Hey, we need a but in Atlanta, we have that. We have the team. You come and it's red carpet and balloons every single time, 3-4 times a year. But this is the pop-up version. So we want y'all to see this and then come for Poetry versus Hip Hop Festival or Poetry versus Hip Hop Weekend in Atlanta. But I cannot continue to keep touring Poetry versus Hip Hop at the price point that is at. And we're all growing and growing wings, and I would love to, but people keep stealing versions of it anyway. So it's like, bro. But so I say this to say that if y'all want us to come back to St. Louis, we need somebody to write a check. You know what I'm saying? A barbershop, a salon, or somebody. You know what I mean? A fish joint, something, ribs.
Facts. Look, hey, listen,
a car dealership.
Y'all want to make sure y'all know how y'all heard them epic stories where y'all be like, oh man, I was hurt when KRS-One did this. You want to be able to go tell your grandkids and all these people you was there.
Mm-hmm.
So Queen Sheba, let them know where can they get tickets at if they want to come to this event.
So all you got to do is go to citywinery.com/STL. They all have the airport codes. So STL, and then just click on the date, Thursday, August 21st. You'll see my round face pop up on a flyer, and then you just click on there, click on the VIP package, click on your ticket. You get to decide where you want to sit, and the capacity is only 200. I'm more than sure we're going to sell out, but I know how people do. They wait till the last minute.
Yeah.
So don't wait till the last minute. Don't hear about it on Friday and be like, oh, I wish I would have came, or because I'm not sure that we're going to return. So there's 15 people in this show, each production, 3 poets, 3 MCs, and that's the pop-up version. So I'm just telling y'all, Come on out. It's a fun, great time. It's poetry night. It starts at 7:30. You'll be home by 10:30 in time to go to bed, get up to work for one more day before you hit your weekend. So it's a great time.
Okay. And listen, yeah, y'all can use my discount code hip hop one. Get y'all a little discount off. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Use
That's
the
right.
hip hop at the number one up in this one. So, you know what I'm saying? Moving on, I want to talk about your album. Bam, let's bring it up so the people can see it. The people can see it. Yes. Look, she has released her 11th studio album, A Hurricane in Heels. Hill people don't act like this. Do y'all see it? Alongside her highly anticipated Attention Seeker, Life in the Fast Brain. I love that. I love that. I love that name. So can you tell the people about this album and the book and everything?
Man, let me tell you something. So, this is my 11th album. I have been doing spoken word for 24 years. I cut my teeth in St. Louis in my early days, and that's why I wanted to bring it back, because I wanted to show homage and grace and gratitude to all the cities that had me when I was stuttering and stumbling and not knowing what I was doing, and working on my show. And A Hurricane in Heels is how I feel sometimes. This album is for every person, man or woman, that stayed too long in a relationship, tried to make things work when you know you should have left at the third red flag. Just, that has doubted yourself, that has dated a narcissist, and you like, what am I going crazy? And the opening of the album is a song called Rescue Construction, or Rush, whichever one you want to call it. It is so radio ready. I mean, all the DJs, podcasters, everybody, it is just something to groove to. Put your windows down. It is a car banger. And it's an R&B meets poetry. And then I have a hip hop artist from the movie ATL. I'll be back out in LA at the end. It's a little surprise. Yeah, that's right. You think
I interviewed him too. Salute to you.
Oh, God, that's my song. Say, look at small world, small world. Yeah. So just when you think the song is over, Albie jumps in. You're like, oh, hold on. And it's just a groove. Like, it's a really good. And so there are 14 tracks, but one of them is interlude. So I have 6 studio tracks that are mixed with 6 live at City Winery tracks, right? And so they intertwine each other, so you're listening to a full like poetry set. And I left in the banter, so I left in the jokes. You can hear the audience talking back to me, you can hear the oh yeah, so you're at a whole poetry concert. And I want people to understand a poetry concert is just as dope as an R&B concert. It's just as dope as a comedy show, and it's just as dope as a hip-hop show, because really at a spoken word concert you're gonna get all of it. You're gonna get all of that. So A Hurricane, and it ends with Barbie on Fire, for every woman that's felt like she had to dress up and be performative in their relationship. And no, I'm done with this. No more fake lashes. I'm taking my weave out. I can't do it no more. I can't be performative in this relationship anymore. I just gotta be myself, and then everything in between. And for the first time not the first time I wrote one, but the first time I released a poem on an album dedicated to my son, and we are estranged. And I took complete responsibility on this track for why we're estranged and why we don't talk, and talk about how I was a shit mom growing up and, being 20 years old. And I didn't want a child. I didn't want to be a single parent. I wanted to, rock out and be in the streets, and, and it cost me. So
we got a question for you, Queen Sheba.
Where's the link? Come on, BP Parker. Let me tell you something, BP Parker. As soon as we hang up from this, I'm an independent artist. And so I got to upload every track to United Masters. You know how it goes. You already know, G Soldier. You got to sit there, make sure you got to put the splits in. You got to text people, how you spell your name? Child, let me tell you. Submitting for the Grammys, it has to be up and out on all streaming platforms by August 29th. So as soon as I hang up from this, I'm going to eat my dinner and stay up and submit the track. So I will let y'all know ASAP. But BP Parker, if you are in St. Louis, since you asked the question, I'm going to give you a free ticket +1 to the show.
You see that, BP? You see that? Salute to Queen Queen Sheba, look. So look, I got to check out the project though, so I got that exclusiveness. It
Yeah,
is
that's you got to listen to the mastering link.
yes. Look, soon as I was listening to it, I hit her up. I said, I love this right here. What was it? So what? Was that the name? What was
Yep, that's the name of it. So what? And and I love writing, y'all. I mean, for any of the writers out there, look at the VP. Hey, you can even come to VIP and listen, BP Park. It don't matter if it's me and you and VIP. We're gonna be standing there taking our own selfies. Pew, pew. So I just I love writing. So anybody that's out there that's a writer, keep writing. Just keep stretching your mind. And the things that make a good writer are
Facts.
reading and experiences, because that's where you pull from. That's where you pull language, vocabulary, and muse from. So reading and write about everything. And one more thing I'm gonna give y'all for free. Break it down into small bite-sized pieces. Don't write about all the love that you ever had in your whole life that broke your heart. Write about that one time on that one day that one person broke your heart, and how was that, so we can see it and be there with you and be heartbroken with you. Because you talk about everybody, we like, well, shit, you did. Well, hell, I mean, you just messed up. But if you talk about that one time, we're gonna be like, that's a spoken word artist, triumph. If we made somebody cry, we like, yes. That's so horrible. That's so horrible.
Facts. But let me ask you this: on your 24-year journey as a touring spoken word poet, what would you say has been your favorite, I guess, couple places that you have toured?
Weirdly, Florida, the whole state of Florida, for some reason, is so receptive of poetry and spoken word. They're like, yeah, this is amazing. They'll start to like support you. Well, when buying stuff was buying stuff before you even said a word. You're like, oh, you're the feature? Well, I should get everything that you have. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right. Florida was great. London is really great. Toronto is really great. Atlanta is really great. New York is great, and it's tough though. I don't care what you do. If you're a bubble blower, a juggler, you better have the confidence.
I don't care what you.
I don't care what you do, but you better have the confidence of 20 million of you, because I don't care. And then people and it's not that you have to be the best in the world. You just have to be confident in you, and New York will ride with you. You know what I mean? I don't care if you just learning how to play the guitar and you learning your first 2-3 notes. Just play those 2-3 notes. Don't try to go off and play 15 notes. You don't know how to do that yet. Play your 2-3 notes and be like, and then don't make excuses for yourself. Don't say, oh, nobody cares. Just do your thing. Do your thing. Let me tell you the number one thing that drives me up a wall at an open mic or a feature set. It doesn't matter what genre it is: singer, poet, rapper, comedian. Let me start over. No, don't start. Sit down. Because you asked. No, sit down. Sit down. Just start over. Yeah. We don't care, and we don't know your poem.
Facts.
You could have just made it. You could.
Yeah, you can play it off. You know what? I have to repeat myself. Blah blah.
And I hate my mother. Whatever, you know what I mean? Yeah. We don't know, and that's me being a poet making fun of poets. But I'm telling, we don't know your work. Just freestyle or start over, and don't say, "Yo, my bad, y'all had to start over." Nobody knows.
Right.
That could have just been the way it went. And if we do figure it out, so what? Just again have confidence enough to start over and just run it back. Yes. Don't ask us. If I'm in the audience, I'm gonna say no.
You are the captain of the ship, steered.
That's right. That's right. When is your birthday?
December the 15th. I'm a Sagittarius.
Oh, yes. The fire sign gang.
That's right.
That's right. My birthday was yesterday, y'all. That's why my Cash App is up there. You see that? Poetry versus Hip Hop 2015?
Give her $1.
Give me a $1 plus. That's all I'm asking. Anybody who sees this podcast, $1 plus. Poetry versus Hip Hop 2015. That's all you gotta do. That's it.
So let me ask you this, Queen Sheba. On your journey, you've been doing this for a while. What would you say has been your greatest challenge?
To continue,
Mm,
no cap, to
mm.
continue. Because some days, as an independent artist, I don't care if you're the most amazing singer in the world, you're like, what am I? Do-
Right. Hey, you're not.
because spoken word doesn't have a label yet.
Mm,
Um, I don't think Jay Ivy's part of a label. Tank is a singer who did start as a spoken word artist, but she's a singer, so she was on a label for her amazing singing, and she's also an amazing poet. So that worked out well for her. But we don't people labels don't know what to do with us really. And really now is the time of the independent artist. Like I don't even know if there are labels anymore. I mean, I know there are, but
yeah,
like what
I get you. Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like besides distribution and a booking agent, like what
Yeah, you can do everything for yourself.
yeah, really. So but to continue when nobody's over your shoulder, when nobody's telling you, hey, and but also to take a break and give yourself grace when you take a break. And
Yeah.
don't worry about making this. I'll be back, y'all. I just gotta again. We don't care.
Yeah.
We're off. We on to the next thing. If
Yeah.
you disappear off of social media for a while, we'll find somebody else to
Yeah.
until you just hey boom and just drop it like you've always been there. I've learned to show up in places like it's your fault that you don't know me, and not cocky, just like I've been around,
Yeah.
but also with the humility of if you're meeting me for the first time, I appreciate that because back in the day we used to hate exposure, but now we're in the digital age and we need exposure. So it's we are 180 right back. We're like, I ain't doing it for exposure. Now I'm like, yes, please, any podcast. I don't care if your podcast is about puppies. I want to be on that Joker.
Next. Okay, so look, let me ask you this. Other than your being nominated for awards, on the flip side of that, what would you say has been your greatest accomplishment?
Um, I taught at Clark Atlanta University as a professor for 5 years. I really enjoyed that. The only reason I don't teach there anymore is because they hired another full-time creative writing professor, and as an adjunct you can't teach what the full-time person is teaching, and so I was reduced to only teaching English composition. I was like, I'm not here for that. That's not what I'm doing. I understand that you have to do that as all the professors in the English department have to teach composition along with, but I was like, I didn't come here to do that. I came here to teach poetry and spoken word. I have published over 20 students at Clark Atlanta University. I created an anthology, and that was really cool. Even more cool and weird, the person who got the job actually used that fact in their resume. They were like, I want to be like Professor Rem and publish students. And I was like, wow, you used my shit to get the job that I wanted. Got it. Okay. So because I believe that when students come to a workshop or a poetry 15 weeks of poetry, they should have something when they leave. And no, they don't have enough work to make their own book, but so I made an anthology between my fiction class and my poetry class, and that's really cool. It's also on Amazon. And I did another one I think a couple semesters later. So just being able to pass on my experiences and my formal teaching, I think is really super cool. And a lot of times we worry about touching the whole generation. You don't got to touch the whole generation, just the people that are interested. And that's all I'm interested in is the people that are interested. Okay. So, yeah, teaching at a college is super cool. I don't think I'm ready to go back to doing that just yet. I think I can announce it. You're going to be the first person to know. So
Let's get exclusive.
yeah, you are. I mean, maybe I should. I don't know. But they told us we could announce it as of today. So I am doing my very first TED Talk.
Yeah, look at that.
Walk through prices just went up.
Salute. I'm glad I know Queen Sheba before the 10.
Hello, no new friends. No new friends. So, like I said, my book dropped today. Ted. You know, people gonna start going to this website. I'm like, yes, look, my book dropped today. I've been working on merch all summer because
That's
I
big.
knew it was coming. You know, we knew probably about a month ago, but they were like, you can't say anything till August 12th. I think they announced it on the TEDx
That's big. That's big.
website. It's super huge. And so it's a TEDx out of Georgia College, and it's about 90 miles east of Atlanta. So, you know, you drive there, do it and come back. But it's a long process. Like it's 2 months of turning in your script, and because it's a talk, it's not a poem, right? So yeah, it's a 15-minute talk. But as a poet, you know, and as a hip hop artist, we memorize that
Yeah,
amount
of
of work.
course.
So I'm very excited. About to be this millionaire real quick off these books. You know what I'm saying? About these speaker fees though.
Yeah, facts.
So yeah, that's why I'm not really ready to go back into the classroom yet, because I want to see where this takes me. I've definitely been wanting to do some speaking. And then, you know, I got my fingers crossed for this Grammy again. I mean, the first step is the hardest, is getting nominated, right? And I've put out 4 albums in 4 years, and I am knocking on six figures. And sometimes six figures don't start at one when for the expenses of going to the Grammys, the, you know, being there all week. And I mean, the wardrobe, the dress, the makeup, the putting the album out, getting it mixed and mastered. And sure, you can barter beats with people, but people, you know, we're talking about music's highest award. You don't play with that mixing and mastering, because people be like, skip.
Yep.
Yep. Oh, it's a poet too. Delete. Bye. You're like, we know. So yeah, I'm like, yeah, no album next year, bro. I'm about to put out an audiobook on your ass. Be like, brown cow. But yeah, super excited to be able to announce the TEDx, and you the first podcast I'm telling.
Let's get it. So look, let me ask you this. You know, I know a couple people like this. So what advice would you give to, like, I guess, new poets who are like afraid to, you know, put their work out there and get on stage and, you know, try their material out because of fear?
So fear is your ego. And it's mine. So let me make it about me, so who's listening can understand. If I'm afraid to share it, that means that my ego is telling me that I care about being judged. So I know it's easier said than done, but if you want to share your work, then you have to share it with the mindset that it doesn't matter how they receive it. It matters your intention on how you give it and deliver it, because you cannot control how people receive your work. Sometimes people have found places in my poems that were funny, that were never meant to be funny, but I can't be like, hey, stop laughing. That's not supposed to be funny. You can't, because you don't also know how they're processing, right? Sometimes I laugh in the wrong place, and you can't control that. So if you want to share on stage, then just release control. That's all fear is. You're trying to control the outcome of how people feel about your poem. And the best way to do that is to be organic and authentic when you're delivering it, and just leave it up to God.
I love that. Oh, that was some great advice. Great advice. Look at y'all. Y'all see Queen Sheba dropping them jewels and them nuggets. Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm
Give
saying?
her a
Every
dollar or
Tuesday.
more.
Yes. What happened?
I said, give her a dollar or more.
Give me a dollar or more. Poetry versus Hip Hop 2015. It is
Dropping
my
jewels on
birthday. A dollar or more. You know, that's it. Come on, blow me up, blow me up, blow me up. It just goes right back into the Black community.
Right, that's right.
You know.
So look, Queen Sheba, do you have anything else coming up that you want to promote?
If you're gonna be or want to be in Atlanta, October 17th and 18th, that is Poetry versus Hip Hop weekend, and it'll be the end of our season. We are celebrating 10 years, so we're super excited about that. Thank you so much to St. Louis. I know that y'all gonna pack the house next Thursday. Chicago is first next Tuesday, and that is the end of our on the road tour until we do Durham at the very middle of October. And just when you all see a hurricane in heels, healed people don't act like that. Know that it's coming from me, and it'll be out in, like I said, I'm about to upload my tracks now. So, texting people, hello, hello. And so, just if you are a Recording Academy member, I cannot tell you who to vote for, but just please consider checking me out in the spoken word poetry category. I have amazing guests on there, a bassist from Fertile Ground. I have Divinity Rocks, who is the former bass player for Beyonce's all-girl rock band, who is a master bassist, hip-hop artist, singer-songwriter, and producer. I have a producer on there that has worked with NLE Choppa. I have three producers. One has worked with NLE Choppa and so many other people. And then another producer, Mike Blaze, no E at the end, out of Raleigh, North Carolina, who's worked with Big Daddy Kane, Raheem Devine, blah, 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 blah. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. He's the one who did Rush and So What, as a matter of fact. And then Grammy nominated producer D Bottz, Bottz, out of Houston already, who has had more than 70 million singles records. So let me see. D Bottz's bio is like bananas. So I mean, just crazy people on there. And then I have a singer who I can't say because it's against her contract and I don't want her to get in trouble, but there is a singer that's currently taping for The Voice that's on my album. She recorded with me last February, which is perfectly fine for the rules, but she can't promote that she's on the album until 6 weeks after her last episode airs on The Voice. And it hasn't even started yet. So I think this season starts like September or something like that. So she's currently taping for The Voice, and she's a monster, and she's on the album. And I have a violinist out of New York. So I have something for everybody on there. So a hurricane in heels, a hurricane in heels, a hurricane in heels. Once you see me, you'll know I wear high heels all the time on stage, but off stage, I'm in my Crocs. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm in my Crocs and my running shoes, but on stage, in my heels. A hurricane in heels. Healed people don't act like that. I'm spilling my own tea and talking about the process of healing in a gangster way. I ain't no punk. So
you're gonna this Queen Sheba. Look, let the people know where they can find you if they want to get in contact with you.
Hey, you can always DM me at the Queen Sheba. I do not reply to any DMs unless you're following me, and I do look first. You got to be. Oh yeah, it's a small. Could people be like, "Hey, can you?" I'm like, "You want me to do something, but you ain't even following me, bro." Like, oh. So, you got to follow me and Poetry versus Hip Hop. But I'm happy to answer any questions you have about the Grammys, the Grammy process. I'm on the education committee for Atlanta, and I'm also on the National Poetry Membership Committee. So if you'd like to find out how to become a voting member, no matter what genre you're in, definitely DM me on IG, but you got to be following me and Poetry versus Hip Hop for me to reply. It's just a small ask. And definitely St. Louis, come on out next Thursday, August 21st, City Winery, St. Louis. Let's go.
All right. So look, my last question that I love to ask all my guests. When it is all said and done and you are long gone from this earth, what is it that you want the people to know about Queen Sheba?
I want people to know that I was a good person, a hard worker, and that I always did what I said I was going to do. A good person.
Drop the mic by. Well, thank you, Queen Sheba. We had a great interview. Got to learn a lot about you. I know the audience gonna love you. So next Thursday, same for the people in St. Louis, August 21st is going down at the City Winery. Get your tickets now. They on the Eventbrite.com. You can use my code HipHop1, HipHop and the number 1 to get a discount off that. So thank you, Miss Queen Sheba. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, G Soldier. I appreciate you. And see y'all next week.
See ya. Salute. Peace out, bars.